Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Filmcast, a podcast about movies. I'm David Chen, and there's nothing that makes me feel like society is making forward progress than a podcast episode where we're going to discuss a Karate Kid movie, a Lilo and Stitch movie, and How to Train Your Dragon. Joining me today is Devindra Hardawar.
Welcome to Summer of Recession, everybody. Get ready to spend very little money. Yeah.
And Jeff Kanata.
This year, you will believe a man can fly all the way into first place for a couple of weeks before he crashes and burns.
Of course, those are vague and oblique references to the fact that today on the podcast, we are doing our annual Summer Movie Wager episode. Of course, we have some very special guests for this episode. Joining us is the one half of the YouTube channel Ordinary Adventures and the creator of SlashFilm.com, Peter Sciretta.
This year's summer movie box office will be fantastic. It'll be super. I've stitched together my list, and I think this summer will be a rebirth of cinema and of sorts.
Wow.
Impossible.
Oh my God.
It will be a final reckoning, one might say.
Yeah.
Elio. Okay, joining me today.
I'm going to F one of you.
That's it. Let's stop it right there.
You crushed it.
That is it. Let's just just hit the stop button.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Joining us also, she is the lead evening news editor at SlashFilm.com, BJ Colangelo.
To paraphrase a genius, a person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals who like to go see really terrible movies while great ones suffer in like 9th place.
So true, so true. And of course, the winner of last year's Summer Movie Wager, the senior reporter at IO9 and Gizmodo, Germain Lussier.
Well, happy to be back. The champ is here, and I have zero confidence that I will repeat because this is maybe the most difficult, hard to predict summer that I can remember in a long time.
I would agree. I would agree with that. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. But first,
for many reasons, yeah.
Yeah, I want to let people know you can find more episodes of the show at thefilmcast.com. Email us at slashfilmcast@gmail.com if you are a patron. At patreon.com/filmpodcast, you are listening to this episode weeks earlier than everyone else. And as we joked on the main podcast, that means you know what not to pick for your wager. If you're listening to this on the main feed, you may still have like a day to get your entries into the summermoviewager.com to be considered as part of our leaderboard before Thunderbolts launches in early May. A huge thanks to Dennis at the summermoviewager.com for maintaining that website. But what is the Summer Movie Wager? The Summer Movie Wager is a game that we play during the summer of each year. You can find the history of the game and play along at thesummermoviewager.com. And the general goal of this game is to predict the highest grossing films of the summer in terms of domestic box office in the correct order. The closer you get to the final ranked order, the more points you get. This year, the Summer Movie Wager will begin on May 1st, 2025 with the release of Thunderbolts and last through September 1st, 2025, Labor Day as usual. Every person picks 13 movies, 10 movies and 3 dark horses, and each movie gets a single score assigned to it using the following rules. And the rules are documented at thesummermoviewager.com, so if you don't pick up on them, that's fine. But I'm just going to read them all real quick.
Just reiterate, Dave, that it's the Summer Movie Wager. I know you've been saying that, but
Yes.
it's easy to the Summer Movie Wager.
Yes. Thesummermoviewager.com. If you picked number 1 or number 10 correctly, you score 13 points for that movie choice. You picked the correct movie for number 2 through 9, you get 10 points. If your picked movie is only 1 spot away from its actual placement, you get 7 points. If your picked movie is only 2 spots away from its actual placement, you score 5 points. If your picked movie is placed inside the top 10 at any point, you score 3 points. And if your picked movie is not placed inside the top 10, you score 0 points for it. You also get 1 point for each of your dark horses that is correct. If 2 or more rules apply to the same pick, only the single rule will be applied that assigns the highest point value. So if you pick number 1 correct, you don't get 16 points because it's number 1 and it's also placed in the top 10. You just get 13 points for it. And that is it. The winner gets to specify a TV show or film under 3 hours that everyone else will watch and talk about. Last year, Germain Lussier won, and he specified Lemonade Mouth. We will be recording our conversation about Lemonade Mouth, putting that out sometime before the end of this year's wager, so you can look forward to that. And again, play along this year at thesummermoviewager.com. In order to be considered for the leaderboard, you must enter by Wednesday, April 30th. All right. So that is what we are doing today. We're all going to run down our top 10 choices and talk about the summer of movies. But first, before we get to any of that, let's just reflect a little bit on what it was like to put together these choices. I will say that this year, I think, is going to be a much more diverse set of lists than last year. I feel like last year when we did this, we all had like basically the same movies, and there were like minor differences in our lists. And this year, I feel like there's going to be huge divergences because there is multiple movies for me that it was painful for me to leave off some movies off the list. Germain and Lussier, you're nodding in agreement. What do you think?
Yeah. I thought it was locked into kind of at least the top three. The top three are always, you feel like, the easiest to do. But this year was not easy because there was like three more after that I was like, those could be there too. And then you start to think of what a number 6 movie is versus a number 1 movie. And you're like, is there any way that movie is going to make 6 money? How could it not make 1 money? I completely agree. This was very, very difficult. I think, like you said, I have my dark horses were the thing I was changing the most because I felt kind of confident about the other list.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is going to be a heck of a summer. And I'm excited to see just how crazy our lists are.
Yeah,
Fast forward, and every list is exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because there's some movies that literally could make $500 million or like $50 million on this list.
Totally.
You know,
I think the way that this year is going to be similar to last year is that I think there's going to be a lot of money in the top 3 or 4 spots, and then there's going to be a cliff.
Yeah,
and there's going to be a big delta between the top half of the list money wise and the bottom half of the list.
The haves and the have-nots. It is a trend that has been ongoing for the last few years, where like it's become more and more polarized. Where like the top 2 to 3 have like 3, 4, 500 million, and then everything else gets brutalized. Any other thoughts as you're making these lists, folks? Any thoughts?
This is not a normal summer. Like, let's not pretend this is in the last week. The global economy has flipped upside down. We have no idea what's going to happen in the next few months. Like, going to the movies is expensive, so normally we can rely on like kids' movies to make a lot of money. Parents go, bring everybody. I think a lot of people are going to not be going to things and buying things because it's going to be hard to live over the next few months.
That's actually a great point because this episode's going out on the main feed at the end of April, and we are recording this on April 11th. And so I just want people to know that there's probably a lot of stuff that happened between April 11th and when you're listening to this that we will not acknowledge on the podcast because it didn't happen yet.
You could be eating your family members right now. I don't know.
Yeah, the new
eating 28 years later.
Outside at this point.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and then even like last week when we're recording this, a Minecraft movie was supposed to make like 70, 80 million. It basically more than doubled that. So that's the kind of unpredictability we're looking at, not just with the economy, but with movies. Like no one saw that coming except maybe a bunch of TikTokers, and that was about it. The same people who like a Trader Joe's bags.
I mean, I could have told you that the movie.
Minecraft is a pretty big franchise.
Yeah,
$80 million is big, but no one thought it was going to do $165 million.
I mean, if you asked me how much, money that was going to make, and you know what, Germain, I'm glad this is coming out right now because this just shows that the people who saw the Minecraft movie coming, they're probably going to win the summer movie wager. Yeah. So I'm really liking me and BJ's chances right now. Is kind of what I'm feeling.
I mean, something else.
BJ, go ahead.
Yeah, something else we have to consider for this summer is that during, lockdown quarantine, the running theme was survive till 2025.
Yes.
So this is also an incredibly competitive summer where people are going to have to choose which of these tentpoles they're going to see because things are expensive. So movies that should theoretically be a sure thing might be struggling because they're just competing with each other and people can only really afford one big family outing to the movies.
Indeed. Peter, Sciretta, any thoughts before we kick off our choices for the top 10 movies of summer 2025?
I think you guys have kind of said it, but there's 38 wide releases this summer, and it was easy for me to like knock that down to 20.
Yeah.
The problem was deciding which of those 20. I mean, and then there's also August. I think in the history of the summer movie wager, like a movie that released in August has made the list a few times, like Hobbs and Shaw and
well, Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy, that was a big one.
Yeah,
that came out in August and was the number 1 movie of the year, basically.
Yeah, but there's been like films like Crazy Rich Asians that have been released in August and made a lot of money, but didn't make the list because they were that late in the season. So, like, what I'm basically saying is I had like I think 17 movies to organize into a list of 10, and then 3 dark horses. that was a lot harder than it sounds.
Absolutely. So really tricky. I had a much harder time with this. I'm not saying I did better this year, but I had a much harder time making this year's list than last year's list, I think. And I actually think that means it's going to be a good summer for movies. Whether or not it's a good summer for your summer movie wager entries, different question.
It's never a good summer for movies. We always are like, oh man, Ghostbusters Afterlife is going to be awesome. And then it's Transformers is going to be great. And it never is.
Indeed. All right.
Some people say those things.
Some people, I mean, I don't know.
Once
I
again,
say
Germain.
I say it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, I am really curious about this because, like, last year, like, I think we only had like 2 choices for all of our number ones. So I'm really curious what everyone's number one choice is going to be. Germain Lussier won the summer movie wager last year. Let's start with you, Germain. What is your choice for the number one movie of summer 2025?
I usually like to pick a movie that I'm excited about and I get to champion because I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. But this summer is not that. My number one movie is Lilo and Stitch. I just think family film. It is kind of generational spanning. The kids who saw it growing up are now, parents. They're going to bring their kids to see it. There is actually a lot of family films this summer, more than usual. But I think Lilo and Stitch is coming out at just about the right time. And it's going to be a tight race, I think. But I think Lilo and Stitch. And it's not a fun pick. I kind of hate it. I have no interest in seeing it myself. I'm not a huge fan of the original. But I think it's going to make all the money.
You're killing me, Germain. Not a huge fan of Lilo and
I know.
Stitch.
Sorry.
Yeah, what the heck?
I'm very interested in how this movie is going to do as well. The original, I think, only made around 145 million, but that was many years ago. Obviously, inflation alone would take that higher right now. I am curious. I think it will be a sign of like how much the fandom of that property has grown. Is how well Lilo and Stitch does this summer. BJ Colangelo, what is your pick for the number one film of summer 2025?
So I was waffling between my 1 and 2, and I will probably regret this choice. But I'm going with Jurassic World Rebirth as my number one.
Oh. Wow.
That franchise
It's very solid choice.
makes ridiculous amounts of money, even when the installments aren't as great as they once were. People love a dinosaur, and as we've seen with any other movie that's tried to do dinosaurs, people don't care if it does not have Jurassic in front of the title.
Very good. We already have great diversity in number one choices, and I can tell you my number one is not either of those. So like we're definitely going to have a lot of number one choices here. Peter Sciretta, your number one choice for summer 2025.
I thought I was going to be the odd man out here with this choice, but it's already been said. I was on a plane putting together this list, and I put together a good list. I think my list was very solid. I sent it to one person, a mutual friend of ours, a guy that might have made some Predator movies. And I was like,
how dare you phone
cheating.
a friend?
Phone a
How
friend.
dare you?
Wait, hold on. You're friends with John McTiernan?
Yes.
How dare you use outside? I didn't know we were allowed to phone a friend.
So I
Don't
messaged
ask him for tax advice. Okay, anyway, go.
My goodness.
I
was
messaged
just
the
gonna say
list
that.
over, and he looked at it, and the one thing he said is, "You're putting this the movie I'm about to say, I think was like number 3 on my list."
Uh-huh.
He was like, "That should be number 1." And the moment he said that, I was like, "Oh, you're probably right. Like this could be the Finding Dory." Remember that year that I put Finding Dory at number 1? So what this is the ultimate nostalgia play. This is Lilo and Stitch. This is coming out in early May or like mid-May, or early in the summer is what I mean. And most of these live action adaptations have made over 300 million. Like that includes Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Jungle Book, Alice in Wonderland. They all did like, Alice did 350. Beauty and the Beast made 426. Lion King 543. So the thing is, like, this does have the potential to be up here. The question is, like, is politics going to keep people from seeing a Disney movie? Is what Devindra said? families even going to have money to see it.
I agree. Stitch is too woke, I think, for a lot of our audiences right now. So
They
I
already
will say,
de-yassified the aliens, though. I'm upset.
They did.
I will say that I think this movie looks amazing. Listen, I agree. It looks like a shot-by-shot remake. And it's weird with these movies because you either go one way or the other. You either change things and fix things and the people are outraged, or you do it like it's a shot-by-shot remake and what's the point? You can't win. Like there's no middle ground with these movies. But I think he looks so cute. And I think Dave is underestimating how much Stitch has grown as a character.
Permeated the culture. I agree. Let me just make clear, Lilo and Stitch is up there on my list.
Yeah.
It's not quite this high, but it's up there. But great choice for your number one, Peter Sciretta. Devindra Hardware, your choice for number one.
I just want to be clear that if Peter wins, we give the trophy to Dan Trachtenberg, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yes, correct.
Wait, so it's not John McTiernan?
if I was right about this, I get all credit. If I was wrong, if I don't get the number one, then it's all Dan Trachtenberg's fault.
I also picked it without talking to Dan, FYI.
Okay.
And I'm sure
See,
somebody else might have too.
It's
Peter,
weird
you're friends
because
with
I sent
Nimrod?
my list. I sent my list to Dan, and he said put Karate Kid at the top.
Peter, you're friends with Nimrod and Tall? Okay, anyway, go ahead. Devindra Hardware, your choice for number one film of 2025. Summer 2025.
I think a few of us have had similar thinking. Because if I look over the last few years, what has happened is the pent-up demand for certain franchises has kind of dominated things a couple of times. And you have Lilo and Stitch. It is a very family-friendly movie. It is a franchise I don't think Disney fully really milked as much as they could have, right? There was a direct-to-video movie. There was, a TV series. But it always felt like this movie just kind of existed. My number one is Lilo and Stitch. Because I think it has the juice. It has the juice. Stitch is a wonderful little terrorist of a character, but he's still adorable. I think there's still a lot of appeal there. You go to the Disney store, you go to things, you still see Stitch, even though there's no Stitch media. This is not like the Avatar situation where it's nobody's talking about Avatar for almost 10 years after the first movie. People are still talking about Stitch. People love Stitch.
Dan Trachtenberg loves Stitch, I heard.
The children yearn for Stitch.
Stitch is a predator.
Stitch is a predator, literally.
Stephen Hopkins, the director of Predator 2, loves Stitch.
Dan Trachtenberg should make a Stitch versus Predator movie. Come on, just make it happen. But no,
I'm told Stitch is the killer of killers.
But this movie is going to do well. I think it's going to do really, really well because there's so much pent up demand for this franchise. Stitch is adorable. It is a wide ranging, it is something adults can enjoy. I love rewatching Lilo and Stitch with my kids because it feels like a weird movie too. It's not a typical Disney kids film. So yeah, I'm down with this.
All right. 3 choices for Lilo and Stitch. I'm so curious, Jeff Kanata, what you are going to choose for your number one film of summer 2025.
Okay, this is crazy because I was going to be the guy that was going to zag when everybody was zigging. I was going to be the guy that was people are going to be like, what? You put Lilo and Stitch at number one? Jeff, you're an idiot. And then I was going to be crazy like a weird alien animal thing.
Like a Stitch, yeah.
Crazy like a Stitch. No, I put Lilo and Stitch as number one as well. And here's my reasoning, which is different than everybody else who did this reasoning.
Because Jeff,
so
by the
different.
Way, Jeff doesn't watch trailers, so it's basically
That's
like
true.
watching someone try to have a boxing match with one arm tied behind his back.
Yeah, no, it's a blind person assembling an erector
God
set.
forbid you see the Lilo and Stitch trailer. The spoilers are everywhere.
Oh my god, it would completely ruin
Jeff.
his experience.
I'm not avoiding Lilo and Stitch trailer because I don't want to be spoiled. I'm avoiding it because I have zero interest in it.
Oh, that one, you have a different reason for avoiding. Okay, yeah. Jeff, go ahead. Your reason for
Again,
choosing
a
it.
different reason for putting it number one as well. And that is, I think we are in the era of the only people that really do come out to the movies are families, right? And it really is, the summer is family time. This is last year. The only thing that could beat Deadpool and Wolverine is Inside Out 2, right? Because we've talked about economic uncertainty, and it is real, and it is going to affect Americans this summer. The only thing that transcends that is, what the hell am I going to do with my kids for 2 hours? and there's no amount of money that we won't spend to do that. And that's why I think we're in this era of the number one movie is going to be a family movie. And you can say that some of these superhero movies are sort of slanted that way. It's not really true. I think, and you could say even Jurassic World, right, is in a sense now, I think really it's what is the 4-quadrant summer movie this year. And it really is only, I think, Lilo and Stitch. So it's family and it's known quantity, right? I think when you have these new IP, like that's why Inside Out 2 crushed. It's because, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that. And I think Lilo and Stitch is the only thing that brings those two factors is it's safe to bring my kids to, and I'm very familiar with it. There's no question mark in my mind.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
There's a bunch of those this summer, though, Jeff.
Yeah.
There are several.
There are a bunch of
films
those.
I was
that
going to
do
say,
that.
I was like,
Yeah.
if you look at the right list, there's like,
Yeah.
I think this is the one.
This is the one. This is the one.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So
this one,
I'm also shocked that there's 4 of us who did this because
yeah,
I really thought you guys were going to make fun of me.
me too.
No.
And I'm sure you'll make
No,
fun
just
of me
wait,
later.
Jeff. Just wait.
just wait until my choice for number one film of summer 2025. Now, I chose this one knowing that none of you would choose it. You know, guys, when you look over the span of history, and I'm not just talking about the podcast, I'm talking about like world history. History is often made by decisive chances that people took, you know, real long shots that people felt like, hey, this has little chance of succeeding, but if
You
it
mean
does,
like a thunderbolt from the sky?
but if it does,
like a dragonfly.
yeah, if it does, it's going to be decisive. Like the person who chooses number one correctly has a huge advantage going into this, right? And so often, one's only chance of winning this is by choosing a number one that's not only different than everyone else, but also correct. And I believe I've done just that, folks. My number one choice for summer 2025 is How to Train Your Dragon. I think it's going to take it all, everyone.
It is.
It's
What
taking
a
it all.
homer. What a homer. Oh my
Wow.
God.
Wow.
You have to dance with who brung you, folks. And obviously, How to Train Your Dragon, one of my long-running favorite franchises. It's we actually had a remix of the song for our theme song for quite a while. But yeah, I think this one's going to surprise folks. I think it's going to be like, you know, remember the first How to Train Your Dragon had like this astonishing box office performance where it like stayed in the top 10 for like many months and then it ended up being like a massive success. And obviously the place in popular culture of this title has only grown since then. That said, the remake does look pretty creatively bankrupt. I mean, I'm not really excited for it.
Yeah.
Universal has
almost as if
already greenlit a sequel before the movie's even out.
Is that true?
Confidence. That's true.
They're doing a
that's not
sequel for
surprising.
the live action sequel. Wow.
Yes,
Incredible. Incredible. So,
But the reason the first movie performed so well is because we had not seen much like it at the time, and now it's like we have seen this exactly, and that applies to Lilo and Stitch too. But yeah,
Also,
we got
it was
a lot
also
less.
during like the 3D craze too, and
Yes.
Yeah.
Dave
Yes.
it only made 217 million. I mean, not that that's not enough, but like,
And only 200. Oh, sorry. 200 of that was Dave. So that was
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
And each subsequent How to Train Your Dragon movie has made less, right?
it's so
Yeah.
true. It's so
Yeah.
true. It's almost like this is a completely out of the box pick that is going to end up winning me the summer movie wager.
I respect it because I agree. It's pretty high on my list, but I also know that you're such a fan of it. Like I said, I don't like picking Lilo and Stitch because I don't have any that really like, you know, personal connection to it. So you get to champion this and cheer for it,
Yes.
which is fun.
I
You're
know.
doing-
Because
you're
gonna
doing the
lose,
Jeff
so
Cannata.
you might as well do that. Yeah, exactly.
What's astonishing about How to Train Your Dragon 1 though is that movie opened domestically to $43 million and then ended up making $217 million. Like that is incredible. Just like if you know how box office numbers work, movies basically never do that. They don't have that staying power. And the reason it had staying power was people really liked the movie. It was a great, incredible movie. So anyway,
I have good news for you, Dave. It's the exact same movie, so people will like the movie just as much.
I like how you're making fun of him having picked an exact same movie as your number one.
Yeah. But by the way, the same guy designed both of those characters too.
You can tell.
Nice, nice, yeah, indeed.
I don't know,
All right.
Dave. I think this pick is toothless.
Oh. How long was that in the chamber?
About like 3 seconds, which is as long as Jeff's jokes are in the chamber on average. But anyway,
That's not anything. This chamber is mostly empty all the time.
those are our number one choices. Let's talk about our number twos. Germain Lussier, your number two choice for summer 2025.
I'm on the same wavelength with BJ. I went with Jurassic World Rebirth. Dinosaurs are big. Jurassic is big. The last movie was a huge piece of crap, and it still made a lot of money. Again, these top couple, like, you know, it was tough to kind of like bob and weave and see where they were going. But I don't know. I just feel like Gareth Edwards. You know, it's debatable if he's ever finished a movie, but he when his movies make money when they come out most of the time, and so it's Scarlett Johansson, huge star. Jonathan Bailey coming off Wicked is a big draw.
Yeah.
Mahershala Ali hasn't made many movies since he won his Oscars. He decided to come back for this. Does that mean the script is good, or does he just want to be a Jurassic Park movie? I don't know. But it's got a lot of chemistry that's making me like kind of hopeful that it's good. And if it's good and a Jurassic Park movie, it's going to make a ton of money.
Did you say Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah,
I did.
Let's just ask. Did anyone else choose this as their number two?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I also chose it as
For
my
the
number
same
two.
reasons.
Let's just get it out of the way. Yeah, and my colleague Scott Mendelson likes to say basically the Jurassic Park franchise delivers something that basically nothing else does. Like there's no other title that delivers on this
Flippin'
level.
dinosaurs.
I know there's like, you know, that Adam Driver movie or whatever, but like nothing else really delivers, and it is extremely reliable. I think the last movie made 375 million, right, domestic. So it's like this is a very, very solid choice for number two, in my opinion. Possibly even number one, as BJ put it. So great choice, Germain. Great choice, Devindra. Any thoughts, Devindra, before we move on?
I think they're amping up the star power a little bit because you have Scarlett Johansson in this thing now. It's not just bringing back the original cast, but it feels like fresh new blood. Gareth Edwards as a director, you know, hit or miss for me, but I think like he has a vision more than Mr. Colin Trevorrow does. So I expect this to at least be a fun movie to watch with some really interesting visuals. Like when this franchise has an interesting director, what was the one I liked?
Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
Fallen Kingdom had a really good director, and I think that movie kind of holds up. So you can do good with this franchise, and I'm hoping it's at least watchable, but it's definitely going to make money.
BJ Colangelo, what is your number two film for summer 2025?
This is where I put Lilo and Stitch. And the only reason that I did not put it as my number one is because last year in the Summer Movie Wager, my big push for Inside Out 2 is that, yes, you have families, but yes, you also have nostalgic millennials who really, really want to see the sequel to that movie. That generation is not as hot on this live action remake. They tend to be the ones that are the most vocally against the Disney live action remakes, and especially after what we just saw with Snow White, how vocally against this people have been, that people are really upset about our cross-dressing aliens being anti-wokeified by the Disney machine. So I'm curious if they are going to be the ones that sit out and wait for it to go on streaming, and it allows Jurassic Worlds to pick up that number one.
Great choice. Wait, that's a serious. I was just joking when I said that Stitch was too woke. Is that a thing that's a thing that's people are complaining about?
Made it less woke, and people are really upset about it.
Yeah.
I see. Interesting. All right, I'll have to read up on that, I guess. Right around the time.
It's very silly.
You really want that Goldilocks of wokeness.
Absolutely. Peter Sciretta, your number two choice for summer 2025.
Okay, here's where I'd be a little bit cynical. So my number two is Superman. I normally love James Gunn. I love Superman, but everything I've seen so far of this one is like it's too comic booky for me.
Yes,
it doesn't seem like it's going to appeal to the masses. But I don't know. These movies tend to do well. The original Superman from Richard Donner did like 134 million, and that was 1978. That's $650 million today. I looked that up. Bryan Singer's Superman Returns did 200 million, and that was 20 years ago. Man of Steel made almost 300 million. So I feel like this is up there. This is going to be 300, 400 million domestically, unless people are like me and like David and think this looks too comic booky. But I don't know. I just think they're going to show up. I think this is like a multi-generational play. I mean, much like the other films we've already mentioned, like, you know, grandpa, dad and son, or and daughter, whatever. All three generations are going to go see Superman.
And great grandpa. Like,
And
this can go farther.
Yeah. So I don't know. I almost want, my personal opinion is almost that I hope this doesn't, or it doesn't seem like it's going to make that much money based on what I've seen. And I know Jeff hasn't seen anything, but I don't know. I think it is.
Huh. Interesting. I think you and I share the same exact thoughts. I just put it significantly lower on the list as a result.
Well, that's why it's cynical of me, Dave, because
yeah.
I think people are just going to show up just based on the name.
Yeah. And the thing is, even Justice League, which is widely regarded as a terrible film, the original one, not the Zack Snyder, only made $229 million. Like, or sorry, it did make $229 million domestic. So it's like, that's kind of like a floor, in my opinion, on like how badly this might do. That said, we already know what Devindra and I chose for number 2, Jurassic World Rebirth. Jeff Kanata, your number 2 choice for summer 2025?
Dun, 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 dun. I believe. I'm not cynical. I believe in hope, in truth, justice, and the formally American way.
And that's why Jeff's pick is not.
I want this movie to be amazing. I think Superman sits in a place that is rarefied air, pun entirely intended. He soars above all other icons. I mean, it's Mickey Mouse, it's Superman, right? This movie is going to make lots of money. I toyed with it at number 1. I just don't think it is, you know, that pure family, got to take the kids for babysitting type of a situation. But I do think Superman is uniquely iconic in the field here, even more than dinosaurs, you know? So I put Superman at number 2, and I'm hoping this movie is wonderful. It stirs in me all those feelings that I want from a Superman movie. It kicks off a new era of great DC films under James Gunn, and it makes me happy and diverts me from the pain of living. But I know I don't have huge expectations.
Yeah. You just want it to justify every single one of your life decisions until this point.
That's right. Basically. That's right. Yes, and make the hurtin' stop.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand. Yeah. All right, Jeff's number 2 choice, Superman. All right. Let's get to our number 3 choices. Germain Lussier, what's your number 3 choice for summer 2025?
This is where I put Superman for many of the same reasons that Peter and Jeff did. I think the reason I put it 3 and not a little higher is I think in James Gunn I trust. I like pretty much everything he's done, especially his his superhero stuff. And well, it's not necessarily including like Super, even going back that way. But just the movie comes out in like 2 months. And they've just been so cagey with the marketing that I'm worried, like, do they not have it? If they had it, show it, you know? Like,
yeah.
And the first teaser trailer is super good, I thought. But then it's like, we're going to release a second one, and it's the same thing again with some dogs. And I'm like, oh, man, there's going to be a full trailer out. Probably it will be out by the time this is released wide.
Yeah.
I think it's coming out next week, but like on the 18th or something. But I don't know. I'm like, are they just being too cautious? I don't know. So they just put in a tiny bit of pause in there for me, and that's why I put it 3 and not 2 or higher. I still think it's going to be a hit. I think it's going to be good. I just think maybe it's not going to be as big a hit or as good as I'd like it to be.
Well, that is Superman. It's Germain Lussier's number 3 choice for summer 2025. BJ Colangelo, your number 3 choice.
This is also where I put the golden son of Cleveland, Ohio, Superman. I am very excited for this movie. I think the interest in what the new DC universe is going to look like is going to be a major draw. For me, it was that shot of Superman in the Cleveland arcade against the glass, and I was like, oh man, this is exactly what I want out of a Superman movie. I'm very, very excited. I hope this does as well as I want it to. But you know what? As last year taught me anything, people disappoint me.
As every day teaches
So
you
true.
now.
So
Yeah.
true.
That's what's
For
so great
real.
about this episode, though. It's like there's infinite possibility of not
Yes.
being disappointed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We're still in that wonderful place where the cat is still alive in the box, you know?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely.
Hope is
All
a
right,
weird
Peter Sciretta-
feeling. One that I'm not used to anymore.
Peter Sciretta, your number 3 choice for summer 2025.
My number 3 choice is Jurassic World Rebirth. All the reasons you guys said, but I do think like this film seems smaller. It seems more intense, more scary than like the last 6 movies. And I think that is going to be a little bit more limiting in how many people want to see. I also think some people feel hurt by the franchise in the last
Yeah, I mean, we haven't
five
really,
movies.
we haven't really talked about the fact that Jurassic World Dominion was terrible. Like,
Yes.
and movies
mentioned
generally perform they have some relationship to how the last movie was and whether people liked it. And that was an awful movie. Like, it was very bad. And I am curious if that's going to impact people's desire to see Jurassic World Rebirth.
None of
For
those
sure.
people are back though, right?
Yeah.
No more
Yeah.
Chris Pratt. Like this is a totally separate. It feels like a fresh new story.
Yeah. That is exciting.
Yeah, the thing about Jurassic World is it made $650 million domestically, but by the time that we got to the third one, it was like down to 370. So like I just think interest is going down, and I just think, am I wrong in saying this looks like a smaller movie? It doesn't look as grand and as big as the other 6
Yeah,
films?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Like,
That
there's
could,
no,
be,
like,
that could be a
world-
very good thing for its actual
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's a feature
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and not a bug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be less of an event. And I think nowadays for the summer movie, you need to be in those top 2 slots, you need
Yeah.
to be an event.
Yeah, no, that's a good call out. All right, Devindra Hardaway, your number 3 choice for summer 2025.
This is where I put Superman as well. I think this movie is going to do better than some people are thinking. Maybe the thing is though, like I've liked what I've seen from the marketing, but the last thing where they just released way too much maybe felt like a little desperate. But every shot from that initial teaser just feels iconic. Like James Gunn is delivering something new and fresh and different. Yeah, it looks a little comic booky. Yeah, it looks a little weirdly wide angle too, but that's different. It doesn't feel as I don't know, from what we've seen, it doesn't feel like an MCU movie right now. Like there's life to it. So I think that's gonna keep it going. I've also heard from people who've worked on this movie that James Gunn is basically killing himself to make the best movie, like the best Superman movie he can. So, this guy's effort, when he tries hard, we tend to see really good results. So I have faith in him.
All right, great choice for number 3, Superman. Jeff Kanata, your number 3 choice?
Well, so far my list is identical to Peter Sciretta's. I have Jurassic World Rebirth at number 3. I guess that's good company because Peter tends to win these things.
Oh yeah, Peter. If I were you, I'd be super psyched that I have the exact same choices as Jeff Kanata. So you're gonna be just fine, Peter.
They call that the kiss of life. The kiss of life, I think, is what they call it.
Peter Sciretta, who meticulously maps out how much and watches assesses all the trailer viewer numbers and stuff like that, compared to somebody who literally doesn't know what some of these movies are about.
That's right.
Operating off
Frank
vibes,
Grimes versus
baby.
Homer Simpson. Yeah.
Today was the first day I learned that it had the subtitle Rebirth. I noticed that Jurassic World Dominion in 2022 was number 3.
Yeah.
Seems like it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
I feel that's just where this franchise is. It's it's top 3. It's like people love dinosaurs, but it's not just not good enough. The movies themselves are just not good enough to crack higher than that. So I think 3 is where Jurassic World Dominion was, and it's where Rebirth will be as well.
All right. Great choice. My choice for number 3, Lilo and Stitch. Same reasons you guys have. I think, remember last summer was the summer of Inside Out 2, right? Completely dominated. I think kids' movies are going to be at the top of the pack. I almost put The Bad Guys 2 on my list. Didn't quite make the list, but There's going to be some great kids movies out in theaters this summer, and I think people are going to turn out to watch them. All right, we are out of our top 3. This is going to get more interesting, I'm guessing. Germain, Lussier, your number 4 choice for summer 2025.
I'll say my next 3 were the most difficult part of this entire list. And the next 3 films, I moved back and forth. And I just felt, I was like, what better movie at number 4 than the Fantastic Four First Steps? Marvel movies have had a rough go of it of late, unless you're Deadpool and Wolverine. But I think this is the kind of new, fresh, you don't have to have seen every other movie take that audiences are looking for with Marvel. If it's not an Avenger movie, like that'll be number 1 next year, clearly. But like this feels like it's going to do well. But again, is it going to do as well? Because most Fantastic Four movies have not done well. Actually, I'm sorry, all Fantastic. The first one didn't it well enough to do the second one. But Pedro Pascal is a huge star these days. Joseph Quinn on the rise. Everybody, Vanessa Kirby. So like, I think it's got the right stuff, I guess you'd say.
Nicely done.
So
I think
it's going to be a hit. It's not going to be as big a hit as they probably want it to be, and it kind of has to be because this is the anchor for what's happening in the next 5 years. From what we can kind of tell, they're already in the Avengers movie. So I think it's kind of fascinating that I'm the first one to bring it up. I'm sure some of you guys have it here as well, or in the next couple spots. And it's a Marvel movie, and he doesn't make the top 3. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think like so far it's clear that none of us think it's going to be a huge runaway success. But yeah, probably somewhere in the middle of our list. It's a great choice, Germain. Fantastic Four First Steps.
I will also say I think that there may be less distance between the top 3 or 4 movies money-wise than we've seen previously. I think there's going to be. I don't think there's going to be like one that's at like 600 million and then the next one's at 4. I think it's going to be much more tightly packed in those top spots.
In the top 3, yeah.
I agree.
Sure, yeah, very probably. BJ Colangelo, your number 4 choice for summer 2025.
Also Fantastic Four for all of the reasons that Germain said.
Did anyone else choose Fantastic Four, by the way, for number 4?
This guy.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
I did as well.
It's fantastic at 4.
Oh, Peter, you as well? So everyone? Except for me. So so let's all...
You can't pick How to Train Your Dragon again, Dave.
Dave's top 4 picks are all How to Train Your Dragon? Yeah.
All right, BJ, you go first, and then I'd love to hear what everyone else thinks about why they chose this for another number 4.
Yeah, I hope that this movie does well. I do think that it looks interesting, especially compared to the sameness that a lot of Marvel movies have been suffering under in recent years. But really, I love seeing a mostly practical thing again. My God, why have we been making him CGI nightmares? That's what I got.
All right. You got Jeff, I know Fantastic Four has a place in your heart.
Very big place in my heart.
Yeah.
And you can go back to early episodes of the Toilet Rad Show in 2007 when I was saying they need to make this movie a period movie. They need to make Fantastic Four in the 60s. That's the only era it makes sense to to birth these characters. So I'm hoping that this is the right take. And it has, I don't know if you guys know this, it has 4 in the title. So it seems like it should be in the 4th spot. Mm-hmm. That's how I make my decisions.
It also has first in the title, Jeff. So I don't know why you
curses.
He didn't know about the subtitle until 3 minutes ago. So don't worry.
Again, news to me. Also, Pedro Pascal is in this?
How does that link? He's the Mandalorian.
Jeff is joking, but he literally didn't know Josh Hartnett was in Trap before we went to see. He went to Trap. So
that is true.
What?
How would you know? How would you know?
That is true.
How would you know, BJ? Right?
Anyway.
I review movies for a living.
So Peter or Devindra, any thoughts on Fantastic Four? Like, it sounds like you're both looking forward to this, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of people have talked about this Marvel superhero fatigue, but I mean, we just came off Deadpool Wolverine, which did insane numbers, 636 million. I think the thing is Marvel made too many movies, and too many of them were like not big characters. And back in the day when you had a not big character, like you had a Captain Marvel, Kevin Feige was able to do his magic and be like, she's going to be a big part of Infinity War. And then like everybody's like, ooh, big part of I need to see that. But like I feel like people are less interested to see like the lesser characters that are in between the big characters. I think Fantastic Four has the potential to be that like a more of a Marvel event. And it also looks different than any of the other Marvel movies. I know Jeff hasn't seen anything, but like it looks as different from the other Marvel stuff as like WandaVision looked from the other Marvel TV shows. So I think this has potential to do pretty well.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that uniqueness, it looks different. That is working in this movie's favor. And then I think back to like, hey, I totally forgot. We just reviewed a Captain America movie. Just blipped out of my mind because it looks exactly the same as like the TV garbage they've been putting out for a long time. This looks so different. The vibe is so different. Everybody loves Pedro Pascal at this point. And I feel like now is the time. Now is the time to kind of do a different type of superhero movie. This feels as different from the MCU as Superman does, like from what we've seen anyway. So yeah. I think people crave that originality.
I do think this is a lot going for it. And Pedro Pascal will just be coming off of Last of Us season 2 on HBO, which is one of the most popular shows on television. And then, that's going to lead right into summer. So going to be a big summer for him, hopefully.
I will say that I think if I got any movie wrong, I feel like this is the movie I got. I feel like I might have underestimated. I feel like it has the potential to be higher.
But that's the thing, right?
I agree with that.
You really gonna the other 3 movies feel like they're just going to be bigger. So that's why this is so tough. Like I think honestly, like my next, like the top 6, if any one of them was number 1, I'd be like, okay, I'm not 100% surprised. You a little more
surprised.
surprised.
That. I think that, like I said, I think there's going to be less of a delta between the big winners. I think it's going to be like there's going to be a bunch of clumping around at like 400 million, 500, 300 million. It's going to be all like really clumped up in there. And I think Fantastic Four, I had this above Jurassic World for a while.
Wow.
Just like, I think it has the potential to be that Marvel thing that has stopped happening, but can happen again.
Yeah, I think it's very possible. Okay, guys, my prediction for number 4, and I just want to explain what I think this actually means.
Oh,
okay?
God.
I think no. So I'll just say right up top, it's Superman, and I'm just gonna put this out there. Now, so far, I think the marketing has been not great. Like, taken together, I think the marketing has been not great. As Germain indicated, maybe by the time you're listening to this, they'll have released a new trailer, and it's going to be like, oh my God, the trailer was so good. Everyone's excited for it now. But so far, I think what they have put out is extremely comic booky, as people have said. I think it is off-putting to mass audiences, what they put out. It's a movie that looks like I'm going to be really excited about it. Like I loved Peacemaker, I loved The Suicide Squad, I love all of James Gunn's. I even enjoyed Super, the James Gunn movie starring Rainn Wilson.
And this one has a man.
Yeah. So, so I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of what James Gunn is doing, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy the movie no matter what. But like, is this movie going to do well? I actually think, based on the current marketing trajectory, this movie will fail. And the DC universe that James Gunn has sketched out will not come to pass.
By the way, if it's at number 4, it probably is going to be considered a failure.
Yeah,
I think it's that big of a thing.
If this only makes around $200 million, I think that will be considered not enough to like launch this franchise into the next phase. That's my guess, and that's around what number 4 is around $200 million.
I really think there's a possibility that we have more bigger. I know that there's economic uncertainty, and there may be people who just want to escape. And I really do think we may have 4 or 5 movies that make $300 million.
It's
possible. All escapism.
It's possible. I would also say that I don't think that's what Superman trailers are currently offering them. And that's
you really hate those trailers, man.
But it is offering
you just want us.
Crypto, who I would, on the record, die for.
Crypto's great. James Gunn made everybody feel for a talking raccoon and revived 70s music in the mid 2010s. Let this guy cook. Let him cook.
It's the summer of D-Chen making some bold predictions. Like the only way you can win sometimes, you make some really bold predictions. Now, look, at the end of summer, we'll play this clip back, and Superman made like $600 million, and I'll look like the biggest idiot. And that's
don't buy crypto this year, Dave. This is a bad year. It's a bad year.
Don't buy crypto.
See crypto.
See crypto. Don't buy crypto.
This is a good crypto. Yeah.
All right. That's my number 4 choice, but that's what I meant, DJ, by what it sounds like, oh, you guys chose the number 3, I chose number 4. Like, I actually think putting it at number 4 is a vote of no confidence in the movie. That's me. All right, let's move on to number 5. Germain Lussier, your number 5 choice for summer 2025.
Well, here's where I put Dave Chen's favorite movie of all time, How to Train Your Dragon. I do think it's going to be a hit, and this is where, and then every year I get the tiny little advantage of seeing a lot of stuff at CinemaCon. I actually saw the entire movie already.
Oh shit!
And it's awesome.
Wait a minute,
cheater.
Always. This is the Lussier advantage.
But guess what? But I also know, having seen it, that it is the exact same movie again, and I love that movie.
Sure,
but it's the exact same movie again and the changes don't really justify its existence, in my opinion. But I don't think audiences will care. I think they're going to go expecting to feel the same way they did with the first one, and they will feel that same way.
Nice.
I think the cast is really good. Everything you want is there. And so I think it's going to be a hit. Like I said before, the fact that they've greenlit the second one before it's even released is a huge, huge vote of confidence in the movie, deservedly so. But it's just a very competitive summer. I struggle with it. I thought it could be 3. I thought it could be 4. And it just ended up.
Do you ever think it could be 1, Germain? Do you think it could be 1?
It probably crossed my mind for a second, yes, but not in any.
Straight to the moon, Germain. Straight to
yes.
the moon. This one.
So,
okay.
I think it's just a very competitive summer, and I could be wrong here, but so How to Train Your Dragon, number 5 for me.
Did anyone else choose? Did anyone else choose How to Train Your Dragon as number 5? Just so
I did.
I sure
Peter,
did.
Go ahead. Oh, Peter
Wow.
and BJ. BJ, go ahead.
Oh, this is where Jeff loses the wager, everybody.
Peter's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I think, for all the reasons Germain was saying, I think people are going to want to see this. It's going to be more or less the same thing. I do find it very interesting that it's the same director as the animated movie. I think that's really, really interesting stuff. And also, people just love Toothless. He's real cute. Look at him. Look at him. That's all I can say to that.
Agreed. And they basically kept the design identical.
Same.
Which is what they did with Lilo and Stitch, which is smart.
Right. Yeah.
I just have to
Sciretta?
say, shenanigans, by the way, for you, Germain, because this is worse than when you saw the first scene of Top Gun Maverick and had like a full in on how awesome that movie was.
I also saw the full Fall Guy before, and that didn't work out very well. Yeah. It's not my fault that my job is to see movies early. So,
Yeah.
I mean, everything everybody else has said so far, I do think that, this could have been higher if it didn't have the competition that is above it. It's a great movie. I haven't seen it. I just know I've seen the original, so it's the same thing, but live action, I assume they didn't screw it up, and hearing people talk about it that have seen it, like Germain, it doesn't sound like they did. I just got back from Orlando and previewing Epic Universe, a new Universal theme park, and they have a whole land based on How to Train Your Dragon, the Isle of Berk. And I do feel like there is a big fandom for that franchise. It's just, can it be like,
enough
Superman?
To propel it to first place, I think, personally. But yeah. It's called Kismet, Peter, when there's this whole Epic Universe, right? Like, it's like, dude, people are going to want to go to the theme park and then see the movie, go to the theme park, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be
not
awesome.
$600 million of people, but
Yeah, like 580 maybe. All right.
You don't need 600 to get to what is this? Are we at 5th place at this point?
No, I meant to be number 1. You're going to be
number
like
1, Peter,
400
which is what it's going to be. Jesus, come on.
Oh yeah, you're not getting 600 million.
Yeah. Get with the program, Peter. All right. Anyway, well, we will see. All right, that's Peter Sciretta's choice for number 5 as well. How to Train Your Dragon. Let's go to Devindra Hardware. Your number 5 choice, Devindra.
Okay. I'm going to throw down a movie we've not even mentioned yet.
Wow.
I'm gonna veer hard left and put in Joseph Kosinski's F1.
Wow. Bold choice.
We talked about event movies and things that feel a little different. I will say, leading up to the summer, the one trailer that has made the audiences I've been with shut up and look and pay attention is F1. It's just a really well cut trailer.
It's well done. It's a well done trailer.
How it uses the music, how it uses a drop to silence too. I think this has it would probably won't be as good as Top Gun Maverick in terms of box office, but I think this is going to be an experience that people want to see. The sheer sense of speed we see from that trailer, I think, is something people may just go to the movie to experience. So I think it has a shot for this.
For the record, I've seen the first 15 minutes of F1.
Oh, shut up.
And
shut up.
And by the way,
shut up, Jermaine.
It's getting there on my list. It's getting there on my list.
Yeah.
Jermain has been to the future, ladies and gentlemen.
I do feel like this is the biggest wild card on the list.
Absolutely. 100% it is a huge, because Apple has never opened a movie successfully. They've of this scale. right? Like they have had movies like Coda that have done, won Best Picture and stuff like that. But like they've never had a movie that's grossed hundreds of millions of dollars.
But they didn't team up with Warner Brothers. This one is a team
Yeah.
up with Warner Brothers, where the other one's like they had team up with Paramount
Yeah, they
on
teamed up with
Killers of the
Paramount on
Flower
Killers.
Moon.
That's right. Yeah.
But that was a 3.5 hour. That's a different thing.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
4 quadrant.
Brad Pitt, fast cars. What else do you need?
And also like
Yeah.
Joseph, what I love about the look of this movie is Joseph Kosinski. Like he made Top Gun Maverick, and the whole reason, one of the reasons that did well is they put cameras into jets.
Yes.
And now they're putting cameras into other fast vehicles. And
fast
it's like,
cars. Yeah.
it seems like
This
it
is
could be
his
a winning
Days of
formula.
Thunder.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it could be a winning formula. That said, there aren't that many like racing movies that do that well.
no.
Ford, I looked this up. Like Ford
I
versus
think I've lost
Ferrari
everybody.
made around like $120 million domestic. So it's like, I know this is very different than that, but it's like kind of more of an action type movie.
This is a swing. This is my
Yeah,
swing.
It's a big swing. I admire it, Devindra, because I was thinking about putting this on my list as well. This high. All right, let's get to Jeff Kanata's number 5 choice for summer of 2025. Jeff, what do you think?
Well, this may be where everything goes off the rails. My number
Yes.
5 is
Too late.
is Elio.
Wow.
Ooh.
Big
Bold.
swing, Jeff.
Bold.
Big swing. Yes.
Yeah. It's Pixar. And yes, it's new IP, right? It's a movie that's evidently been sitting on the shelf for a year, but it's Pixar. It's a kid's movie. It could capture some of that magic, and it could be, hey, let's all get out to the movies with the family and watch an animated film that is we don't know about. Maybe we'll take that chance. I'm betting that people will. So the Pixar brand is resurging, I hope. So I put Elio at number 5. It may be a terrible choice.
Here's the point in the conversation. I wonder if Jeff watched trailers, if he would make different decisions.
So here's this,
Yeah.
without revealing the rest of our list. At one point, Elio was not on my list at all.
Yeah.
And not for lack of not knowing about it. It is now on my list because I was like, there's no way a Pixar movie doesn't finish in the top 10, but maybe we're getting to that point.
Right. I mean, even Lightyear made like $120 million, which is generally enough to get into
Yeah,
the top
exactly,
10,
yeah.
but
And let's not forget Elemental, the movie everyone wrote off that then made an insane amount of money because it had legs. This could be another Elemental
true.
situation.
Very true. Yeah.
it's so true. 154 million domestic and almost $500 million worldwide. So yeah, who knows what's going to happen? But I'm kind of in the same boat as Germain. Like Elio was at one point a dark horse for me, and not even in the top 10. So we'll see. My number 5 choice is Fantastic Four: First Steps. We've all talked about it already. I think this has a chance to do really well, but I also feel like there have been multiple bad Fantastic Four movies that have come out, in our lifetimes, and I worry that the stench of that will be difficult to wash off. But now it's part of the MCU. Now you got big stars in it. Maybe that's going to be enough. I think it'll do well. I think a couple $100 million is within the offing. I mean, the big question I think too is the movie going to be any good? Because I think they've only been working on it for like 15 months or something like that, right? Like
It started shooting like at Comic-Con last year around
Right.
that time. So almost, it'll be like a year total.
that's like a ridiculously short amount of time to make a movie of this scale. And
Totally.
so I am really worried about just like the quality of the movie. So between like it's going to be a big part of the MCU and it has some nice stars like Pedro Pascal in it, and then canceling out the movie might be bad and they only worked on it for like 8 months, it lands about halfway through the list at number 5 for me. Germain Lussier, your number 6 choice for summer 2025.
Traditionally, the first movie of the summer is one of the biggest movies of the summer. And I think this is one of the years that none of us have banked on that being true, which is why my number 6 movie is Thunderbolts. I think Thunderbolts could be really good. I think it's got a really interesting cast. It's got a very cool hook. It's MCU opening the summer, which traditionally, like I said, has been a big hit. But it's not the big heroes, and it's not the biggest stars, though Florence Pugh is pretty kind of a huge star at this point. And again, this could be much higher. It has the most time out of everything on our list to
Right.
make money. It will be on this. It'll be in the top 10 for 2 months, So, and we know doing this podcast for so long, every 500,000, makes a difference at the end of the day. So it's got the most time, but again, it's tracking to open around like 60 million, which is not a huge opening for a Marvel movie. So again, I'm not really sure exactly what's going to happen in reality with this, but number 6 is again just kind of where it fell for me. And but again, a May opening weekend May release coming in number 6 would be a huge story.
All right. Did anyone else put Thunderbolts as number 6 by any chance? We can just talk. Oh, no one else. Wow.
Lower.
So everyone had it lower than this. All right. BJ Colangelo, you're number 6.
Yeah, I went with another May release. I went with the supposed franchise swan song of our last true Hollywood superstar. I'm going with Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. It's a late May release. It's also going to have the buzz out of cons, which is just a bunch of people who are going to be like, this is the greatest movie ever, even if it's ass. And that's going to probably lure a lot of people into seeing it.
Wow. I didn't know your
it could never work the opposite way, right?
I didn't know your estimation of the people who go to cons is so low.
I'm
BJ.
just
But yeah,
saying, a
Final
lot
Reckoning-
of movies have been. Amelia Perez was considered a good movie out of cons. Are you joking me? Forgive me for
Amelia
not
Perez.
having high hopes.
I am super excited about Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to do that well, just because the last one didn't do that well, wasn't that good in my opinion. But I'm super psyched about this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be
You
there.
have not seen the trailers, right? Or you saw the first one? Did you?
I have listened to the trailers, and
That last trailer.
They sound awesome.
That last trailer is like,
It's
Yeah.
pretty sick.
you better see this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Anyway, that's BJ Colangelo's choice for number 6, Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. Peter Sciretta, your number 6 choice for summer 2025.
So BJ is smart, and I also put Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning at my number 6 position. We love this franchise, but
Yep.
I think these movies basically do like 200 million. And I think the first part of this finale did like 172, and that was not great, like you said. I feel like it lacked the big spectacle stunt to sell it, and then the movie ended up not being amazing. This is going to be released on Memorial Day. It gives it a prime spot. I think the fact that they're kind of marketing it as the possible final film in the series could give it a bump up and maybe lead it to like over 200.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's going to bring out all the people that ever loved it at any point. Maybe it's possible. It's possible.
It's interesting. That's an interesting point to bring up. I don't want to. We don't need to relitigate the last Mission Impossible now, but I do feel like that motorcycle jump stunt, was not. Oh my God! I can't believe he did that. It feels like, that's what Daredevils have done for a long time. It didn't feel like strapping yourself to a plane as it takes off, or some of the other stuff that he's done. It feels like, my God, I've never seen that. And this other one just felt like it's kind of a standard, like Evel Knievel deal,
I would agree that I think it was a mistake to hinge all the marketing of that film around that one thing.
I think what's interesting about that movie was called Dead Reckoning Part 1, and I think that kept people away. That's why they changed it. Now it's just called Dead Reckoning officially, and this is the Final Reckoning. I think that name change was a smart play that will help it. I still don't have incredible confidence in it making a lot of money. But yeah, but I completely see it at the spec for you guys.
They should have done that name change before the movie came out. The first
Yes,
movie.
they should have.
Yeah. All right, Devindra Hardawar, your number 6 choice for summer 2025.
Yeah, this is where I put in How to Train Your Dragon. And I think pretty much everything we said. Like, I think it has a shot to make money. Big family friendly franchise. There's a lot of love to it. Toothless still looks adorable. So that's pretty much it.
Jeff Kanata, your number 6 choice for summer 2025.
Where I also put How to Train Your Dragon.
Right.
I think I think you're putting it at number 1 ignores just how grotesque some of the humans look in it and off-putting.
Have you seen Gerard Butler?
Jeff, I include you on the podcast, and I ignore how grotesque you look on the show.
That's why this is an audio medium, David.
No, Jeff is a very good-looking individual, so he knows I'm joking.
For a dragon.
That's fair, Jeff. That's fair. Look, it was a big swing. Just like my number 6 choice is a big swing, folks. Sorry, Jeff, were you done?
I'm done.
Okay.
We talked enough about How to Train Your Dragon.
My number 6 choice is a movie that this is like, wow, if here, guys. I just want you to know if I
Oh, wow.
messed up this list, I wanted to mess up. Big. I wanted to mess up huge, right? I wanted to be like colossally wrong, right?
Well, you did that with the first one, but let's go. Let's go.
I mean, that's the easiest thing to shoot for, David.
Well, if I mess up, but I actually think I'm going to nail this. And my number 6 choice is Karate Kid Legends.
Ooh.
I'm ranking it above Thunderbolts. I'm ranking it above Mission Impossible. Karate Kid Legends. Need I point out? New Karate Kid made what was the Jaden Smith one?
A
Karate
lot
Kid?
of money. Just the Karate Kid.
Just called the Karate Kid. Yeah.
It's just Karate. Yeah. That made it like $176 million domestic. That was like over a decade ago.
15 years
This
ago.
one doesn't have the sizzling star power of Jaden Smith.
It's so true.
But it does have Jackie Chan back. And
we have
Ralph
never
Macchio.
seen a Karate Kid launch in the post Cobra Kai era.
Right.
And now when I told this to my wife last night, she said, well, that just means people are going to wait until it shows up on streaming. But she also talked me out of putting Barbie higher up on my list that year. So I am not listening to her. So that's why I think Karate Kid is number 6. I think this movie is going to smash it. I think people
high kick it.
are,
2025's Barbie, David Chen.
I think people are going to turn out because they're fans of the original Karate Kid. I think they're going to turn out because they're fans of Jackie Chan. I think this is going to surprise everyone's going to be shocked at how well this does. I don't think it's going to open huge. I don't think it's going to be like a huge opener, but I think it's going to be like, oh man, like it's the doldrums of it's like late July. Oh, let's go see the new Karate Kid. Do you think it will
step up on one foot and slowly put a leg out?
Yeah.
You're saying that it won't wash on, but it will wash off.
That's right. That's right.
I have to chime in here because I don't know any bigger Karate Kid fan than myself. I love the film.
And that's why you think it's going to be number 6, right, Germain?
That's why it's not even on my list.
Or
a dark horse.
Really?
Not even a dark horse. I love the franchise. Cobra Kai is one of my favorite things of all time. Even when it got bad, I loved it. I have so little interest in this movie. I'm going to see it, of course. I'm going to go, and I hope it's good. And Dave, I want you to be right. I want it to be awesome and a big hit, and I want a million more Karate Kid movies. It's not connected to Cobra Kai really in any way. It doesn't have.
But people don't know that. People do not know that.
You're right. That's true. That's true. And
Macchio's there. Macchio's there.
I know he is. I could be way too close to it, and maybe that's going to mess with my my judgment here. But I have no interest in seeing. I have no excitement for it, and that's why I didn't put it on my list. But again, maybe I'm just too close. But so this is a bold pick.
I will tell you, I don't give a shit about most of those things that you said. Like I don't watch Cobra Kai, right? But this is one of my most anticipated films of the summer. Like the first trailer,
I think as a Jackie Chan movie, it looks good. As a Karate Kid movie, it does not.
I mean, I agree that it doesn't look good, but I will say that,
how dare you both?
Hey, no, I will defend. I will come to Dave's defense here. Cobra Kai is a phenomenon. I think people that don't watch it and are in that world don't understand how big it is. Season 6 had 15 million views in the first 4 days alone. Like that's a lot of people, and it's like multi-generational, like we talked about earlier. So there's dads, kids. It's I don't know. It's not my number. What are we at? Number 6? Yeah, it's not my number 6 though.
Well, you disappoint me.
Hey, I defended your honor here, Dave.
Yeah, I was mostly talking about Germain.
Okay.
But yes, guys,
you're a man who will defend his honor like the glory of love.
Yes.
I'm trying to, I'm taking some big swings, guys, and they're probably not all going to work out. In fact, probably none of them are going to work out. But we press on regardless.
Winning the summer movie wager is like trying to catch a fly with chopsticks, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Dave, you should have said we wax on regardless.
We wax on regardless.
Watched, and I ruined the quote like an idiot.
Yeah. I was like, Jeff, is that...
Why did you say wash?
I don't know. You paint the fence, you wax on, wax on. I screwed it up.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've seen that movie. But it meant a lot to me as a kid.
Indeed. All right, let's. We're in the home stretch. Let's get to Germain Lussier's number 7 choice of summer 2025.
Here's where I go, Team Devindra, and I picked F1. This is you know, I'm a ride or die now with Kaczynski after a couple of years ago with Top Gun. Clearly, I agree with Devindra, everything he said. And I think this is the movie, like, this is the dad's movie, right? There's there's usually like, kind of romantic comedy or some sort of movie that's more, skewed towards women. This is the one skewed towards the older dudes. And I'm a huge sports fan. I'm not an F1 fan, but I know it's massive based off like its Netflix show and stuff. And then, of course, just normal fans. So I think this is going to have an audience. I'm not 100% confident in the kind of the marketing getting out there, even though the trailer is great. So I don't know. Like I said, Devindra could be right, and it could be much higher. I just ended up putting it here. I'm super excited to see it, though. The opening is very cool, and I hope it does well.
F1, solid choice at this position. Number 7 in Germain Lussier's list. BJ Colangelo, you're number 7.
This is where I put Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
It's a Marvel movie with some people in it. That's what I've got to say.
Wow.
I will say
I want it
I also
to.
put
I
Thunderbolts
never
as
want a movie to fail. Let me just say that I never ever want a movie to fail. But the interest level I have in this movie is non-existent. Even after the trailer, where they were clearly trying to push like all of these actors have been in cool A24 movies. This is not your average superhero movie. I don't care.
Desperate.
I don't care.
Peter Sciretta?
I also put Thunderbolts in this position. It's interesting because I feel like in concept, this could have done really well. This could have been like a mini Avengers. But the problem is I don't think anybody cares about any of these characters. Do any of these characters have more drawing power than the new Captain America did for Brave New World? Because that movie made what?
I think Florence Pugh is
million?
probably a little more famous than like Anthony Mackie. In my mind,
I think it's marginal. What you're saying?
I think the difference.
Is it a mini Avengers movie going to make like $150 million though? Because that's what we're kind of talking about here.
Yeah.
Like number 6, 7.
Everyone's wondering what happened to Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp. What's she up to?
What is Taskmaster doing?
I think the draw for this one is it's irreverence.
Yes.
I think it's the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? It's the goofy ragtag comedic romp. The feel good, like Captain America didn't offer any of that.
Yeah.
And I think this has the potential of just being more fun.
What are we? Some kind of Thunderbolts?
I mean, I haven't seen the trailer.
Did you guys get that reference? That's a Suicide Squad reference. Anyway, okay. So I also put Thunderbolts as number 7 as well, by the way. I think it's gonna do just fine. Not going to be bad. It's going to be, I think I'm going to enjoy watching it a lot, and it will be inconsequential, and it'll make around $160, $170 million. That's kind of how I feel about Thunderbolts. So right there with you, BJ. Right there with you. Okay. Peter, you also put it at number 7. Devindra Hardawar, your number 7 choice.
For me, it's The Final Reckoning. I think this movie is really being set up to be like, you remember how great these movies were? You were there when Ethan Hunt did all of these things, and he could be gone after this one. So you better show up. This is the last shot you have to see him do something crazy. I've seen all the trailers, and I think, I was a little disappointed with the last movie, but I think McQuarrie is a smart enough guy to kind of fix the narrative holes he had in that first one. And from what I've seen, it looks like they're doing a lot of fun stunts. I'm just super excited to see this one. I think it's going to be a big event this summer. Yeah.
All right. And Jeff Kanata, your number 7 choice for summer 2025?
I'm right there with Devindra. Mission Impossible Final Reckoning is my number 7. I think this is a solid franchise that just sort of lives in the 6 or 7 range. And there's a lot of competition this year around it. Although the fact that I think BJ brought this up, the fact that it releases so early in the year, I think will benefit it as well. So 7 might be a little low, but I do think that's kind of where Mission Impossible movies live in the summer, is that lower than 5 range.
I'm going to put this out there, guys. I think it's a bad sign that none of the trailers for Final Reckoning tell the story of what the movie is really going to be about.
There's no story.
Was
there a story in the last one? What was the story?
The key is in 2 shots.
Yeah, no, I know the key. It comes back. I know what the story is going to be roughly, but I'm just saying. I think it's actually important for audiences that they see. Like we complain a lot about how much trailers give away, but like I think audiences like to know what they're going to get. And I don't know that.
I think there's a pretty good sense of what you're going to get.
I don't think Final Reckoning offers anything other than like cool visuals, right? Like
I think that's what you go to a Mission Impossible movie for.
That's what you go to movies for.
It's going to be crazy stunts. They're going to have to get a thing from a place that's going to be hard, and that's all you need to know.
All right, all right. I will say that it is my number 8, so it's not like I disagree with you guys hugely on where it lands, but I just have a bad feeling about it. Anyway, let's move on. Germain Lussier. Final 3 choices. You're number 8.
Is Mission Impossible, just like you. Yeah. So like for everything we just said, I just think, again, it's just like, it's the conundrum of this summer. It's like, is Mission Impossible, like it's the last one. It's Tom Cruise. No, the last one wasn't a huge hit, but now this is being positioned. Is it really only going to be number 8? But then you look above it and you're like, is it going to beat those? This is a great example of like why this list this year was so hard. Because,
is it going to beat the Karate Kid Legends? I agree. I don't think it is.
I mean,
Germain.
exactly. It's a good, yeah. So anyway,
it doesn't stand a chance against Karate Kid Legends.
I want you to be right about that. I really do. Anyway, yeah. So like this is it's a tough list. It's tough competition. This is where I put Mission Impossible Final Record.
All right, BJ Colangelo, you're number 8.
This one might be a big swing. This one is my personal pet project of a movie that I am hoping just absolutely crushes it. I'm going with the second most watched trailer of a horror movie ever, Final Destination Bloodlines.
Oh, wow. Man.
Wow.
I mean,
Adam and Zach.
Okay, yeah. I mean, first of all, this movie is directed by Filmcast listeners, so I am rooting for it hard.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to see. I literally last night was watching Final Destination movies to like get ready for this one. So like I'm excited. BJ, tell us why you're putting this at number 8. Bold choice, by the way. Bold choice.
So I love the Final Destination movies unapologetically. This was like my first horror franchise that I discovered on my own, that I didn't have a parent introduced to me. So I feel that very near and dear. And I think a lot of people in my age range feel the same way. But also these movies are so fun and they're so gross. And I think people are looking for a little bit of that right now. Escapism comes in many forms. For some people, it's seeing something hopeful and beautiful like Superman. And for sickos like me, it's people dying in elaborate Rube Goldberg machines.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I am rooting for this movie so freaking hard. Like, could not be more excited about this movie. Yep. And also, no Final Destination movie has made more than $70 million domestic, right?
And guess what? The tide is gonna turn on this one, baby.
Yeah, it's possible. Like it's possible. Like because I think these movies are such a huge part of the public imagination. Like everyone knows about the log going through the guy's head in Final Destination 2, and other things, and Final Destination 5's twist ending, which I'm not even going to spoil here. Like there's just so much out there that I think it's possible this becomes people are like, I want to see people dying. And this becomes a phenomenon.
What really sold me on it is like, obviously having a ton of people watch the trailers is a big deal. But it was when I went on TikTok and it was after they released the septum piercing, where you were watching people flip their septum piercings up. I was like, oh, we've added another thing that we've referred to in our brains, like our collective consciousness, as being Final Destination. Yes. That's huge.
Yeah. There's not that many movies that it's like, oh, I don't drive behind trucks carrying logs anymore because of the movie. Like, there's not that many movies
in the first place. By the way.
There's not that many movies that can shape human behavior, and this is one of them. It has a possibility of being a huge breakout hit because of like the social media buzz that you're describing.
Totally,
so, like,
the memification is powerful.
I'm really torn. Yeah.
I toyed with it all over the list. I went from dark horse to off the list to on the list everywhere. So it's a good pick, I think.
It was it was not on my top 10. It was a potentially dark horse, but like I'm really agonized about not putting this in my top 10. Peter Sciretta, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, you basically said it. None of these films have made over like $66 million. I want this to be good because I love this franchise. I love the filmmakers. But I just think you need to be over 100 million to. I just don't think. Don't
maybe
think
this
happen.
can get there. Maybe this can get there. Who knows?
Sixth try. Yeah,
I'm rooting for it.
There's a lot of horror this summer, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it now, kind of all in this range. So we haven't gotten that. This is the first one mentioned. Is something.
Yeah. All right, Peter Sciretta, you're number 8.
My number 8 is Karate Kid Legends. So
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. And now Germain's making me feel like I made a big mistake with this one.
Well, it's not like Germain won last year or anything.
Right.
So he doesn't know.
I didn't
He
get
doesn't
really
know.
close the year before either. So
Peter, any other thoughts before we move on?
That's it. It worries me knowing how big of a fan Germain is of this franchise. It worries me that it's not on his list at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't even
but I'm also a 45-year-old man, dude. Like, I'm not the target audience. Like, it's the kids who like Cobra Kai. Like, I write Cobra Kai articles, and much younger kids go crazy for that cast who is not in this movie. So, we'll see. But like you said, they might not know that.
See, that's the other thing is like I feel like Cobra Kai. One of the big draws is what's the actor's name that plays Johnny Lawrence?
William Zabka.
Yeah, like, and I feel like if he was in this movie, I would feel because I feel like he's the one that pulls in more audience for that.
The show was about
really?
him.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah. I don't think I'm not sure if people care about Daniel at this point.
All right. Well, I don't like hearing that pessimism, Peter, because I think Karate Kid Legends is going straight to the moon. Devindra Hardawar, your number 8 choice.
Yeah, my 8th choice is also a high kick, Karate Kid Legends.
Nice.
I
Wow,
do think
you
it's
guys.
the combined power of Jackie Chan,
Yes.
Ralph Macchio, kids fighting each other in death matches on roofs in New York City.
Yes.
You don't get that everywhere. You don't
Yeah.
really get that everywhere.
Well, we
So
will
I think
in this
It's just
economy.
it's just a preview of the future.
That's true.
Are you
So,
just describing a Ninja Turtles movie?
I
Boom,
cannot wait. But
boom.
basically, it kind of feels like a Ninja Turtle. Like, oh, we're having a kids fighting tournament now. My daughter saw this trailer with me, and she's like, "What is happening?" I'm really on board with whatever
She's
is
like,
going
I
on
want
here.
she sees a kid beating
want
the
to go
shit
to
out of
there.
another kid. She's like, I want to go to there.
Well, she also saw like the Vanilla Ice song in Turtles 2, and she's like, "Yes, I need. What is this?
we all
Turtles?"
do that though.
She's like, she
Yeah.
starts chanting like during the fight, "Go ninja, go ninja, go,
Yeah, she's
go
great.
ninja." Anyway,
I think this has the power. This has the power to get people, and also
it's got the
the
juice.
setup looks fun. It's got the juice. It's got the kicks. They've got wire work. I don't think I've seen wire work in Karate Kids movies before, but like
almost
the
like
actual-
it doesn't belong in a Karate Kid movie.
It doesn't look along. It's coming from the director of The End of the Effing World, which is a series I loved, and I think they're really talented too. So I think I want this filmmaker to succeed, and I'm more interested in this than I was like getting into Cobra Kai, to be honest. So
I need people to go and watch the first, not the new one, the first trailer for Karate Kid Legends is so good.
It's
It
fun.
is like it got me so amped to see
Disagree.
this movie. I'm excited. Okay. Jeff Canada, you're number 8.
My number 8 is F1. That's I think it is going to be like the bullet train of this year. You know, it's like it's got the pit. It's gonna be. I'm probably gonna really like this movie. I'm expecting to really enjoy this movie. I'm looking forward to it. But I feel like it's just gonna sort of be toward the bottom of the top 10. It's gonna make solid money. But it's I don't see it as a breakout. I you know, F1 is huge as people have mentioned, and Brad Pitt's a bankable star, and this could be a really, really fun movie. But I do feel like it's not going to be the movie of the summer like a Top Gun Maverick. I think it's I think number 8 is where it lives.
Yeah. All right, my number 8 is Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. We've already discussed why it's down here. You know, the movies have started flagging a little bit. Every year a Mission Impossible movie comes out, it's always around the 6 to 9 range.
Mhm.
That's just generally what it always does. And that's kind of where I think this one's going to land as well, especially after the last one was kind of disappointing. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, there's nothing momentous about this one at all. Nothing significant. Yeah.
Certainly nothing as big as Karate Kid Legends. All right.
Mhm.
Let's get to our number 9 choice, Peter Sciretta. Oh, sorry. Germain Lussier. Let's start with you.
I went with Team Jeff Canada and Elio. I think Mighty Duckman himself. I just can't believe Pixar wouldn't make a movie that makes at least 120, like you said, with Lightyear. I am worried that this is, one of these Pixar movies that has been changed. If you watch the first trailer that came out like a year and a half ago, and the most recent trailer, it's a different movie. And so that they had to rework it is both terrifying, but also encouraging.
Well, it's also different directors, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that maybe, but I just know
Yeah,
like
it was a co-director of Coco was replaced with the director of Turning Red, I think.
Yeah, and that's not always a bad thing. Pixar, they're making it better, ostensibly, right? But that it took so much work to do is a little worrying. It wasn't the automatic home run that we are led to believe. At least some of their bigger hits were. So yeah, I mean, it could do much better. I don't see it doing any worse than like a number 9, which is where I have it. But I'm interested to see where everybody else has it.
All right, so that's Germain's number 9. Elio, BJ Colangelo, you're number 9.
I want this movie to be good. I want this movie to be in this spot. I don't trust audiences to give a shit about women because we can't just call it Ballerina. We have to call it From the World of John Wick Ballerina. That's where I want it. I want this movie to be awesome. The John Wick movies make money. People love them, but I don't trust people at all to support a female-led action movie. I'm hoping this is the one that changes everything. I'm hoping this is the one that does well.
I feel the same way as you, BJ. Like, I remember when Atomic Blonde came out.
Yep.
And like that movie kicked so much ass and tanked at the box office, right?
Furiosa?
I'm
Furiosa
still
So
mourning
angry.
the box office
Absolutely.
performance of Furiosa.
Yeah.
Like, it physically pains me to see how poorly that movie did. And people can justify it in any way that they want. It does come down straight up to misogyny. It just does. And
100%.
I am so afraid that this is going to be the same song and dance, even though Ana de Armas is so awesome. And this movie, it looks awesome, but I don't trust
it. It looks super cool. I think what's interesting too is like I remember a couple of years back, John Wick 4 was was in the top 10. It might have been even like the top 5. It was a massive hit, and none of us picked it that year. And I think maybe somebody has like a dark horse. So that coupled with, like you said, the misogyny and the de Armas, though they are pushing really hard that Keanu is in this as John Wick.
And that's the
He's
thing
in the
that
trailer.
Which is scary, but also could help. I struggled with this one mightily.
Yeah. But yeah, John Wick Chapter 4, $187 million domestic.
Mhm.
Massive.
Maybe the John Wick demand is still out there. So anyway, I love this choice. I'm really excited about this film. It's From the World of John Wick, Ballerina.
John
Okay,
Wick
for
gives
worst
it the
director.
thumbs up,
Yeah.
John Wick says you should go see this,
All right. Peter Sciretta, you're number 9.
Yeah, in 2019, John Wick 3 hit number 6 on the summer movie wager, and none of us had it on our list.
Wow.
There was only people that had Dark Horse. So it was me,
It's almost
Jeff,
like
and Devindra.
it's almost like literally we repeatedly refuse to learn about the public's love for John Wick.
This is true.
Yeah, but I'm
I'm
with
low on the list of the things we refuse to learn about.
But I'm with BJ. I think the audience is going to be the mostly male audience. It probably isn't going to turn out for this, which is unfortunate. Anyways, the one that is on my list at this spot is it's sad. It's very sad because earlier on my
That's
list,
not a title.
I know.
I didn't hear about sad.
Well, I higher up on my list, I have remakes of animated movies like that. This is an original movie from Pixar, and it's probably seeing what their slate is. They're making less of those these days. But footage we saw at D23 of this was so bad. The directors were replaced, which Germain said isn't a bad thing. They did that with Ratatouille, and that became one of the best movies. But even the trailers they have coming out now don't look great, and I want this to be good. Pixar has a mixed track record with sci-fi. They had a win with WALL-E, but a huge miss with Lightyear. I don't know. I'm putting it here. Basically what I'm saying, guys, is it's me. I'm the problem. It's me because I'm more excited to go see Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon, which are shot for shot remakes, than see Elio, which is probably a dying breed.
Probably the work of like thousands of passionate creators trying to bring something new into this world. Like it's probably something they poured their blood, sweat, and tears into for years. But yeah, I agree, Peter. You are what's wrong with the movie industry.
Some of us put it at number 5. I don't know.
the one who doesn't watch trailers.
That was
put it
Jeff's
number
act
5.
of service for this year.
That's right.
Anyway, that's Elio. It's Peter Sciretta's number 9. Devindra Hardawar, you're number 9.
I'm gonna go with Thunderbolts.
Wow,
That's it.
Pretty far down.
That's it.
That's
Pretty
it.
far down, but
End of
also
statement.
end of statement. My number 9 choice is Thunderbolts because release date and money builds money adds every week.
Yeah.
And MCU and also
Line
Marvel.
go up slowly over time.
yeah, Marvel
so
and
therefore-
also characters known and
Yeah.
franchise.
Yeah.
Number 9.
he's just saying random buzzwords now. All right.
Popcorn buckets.
Yes.
Marvel.
End credit scene.
I love Lamp. Okay, Jeff Kanata, your number 9 choice.
I find myself agreeing with Devindra a lot.
Wow.
Thunderbolts is my number 9. I actually
For the same words, Jeff.
the same
franchise.
words. Same
Line.
words.
Go
Yeah.
up.
I'm actually have a non-cynical take on this. I actually think I'm going to like this movie a lot. I look forward to. I think this movie is going to take some goofy chances that I tend to like in Marvel movies when they allow themselves to be a little irreverent, and I think I am going to really enjoy this.
Bold prediction that you're going to like a Marvel movie, Jeff. So I'm glad
man.
you put yourself out there.
I hated Eternals.
And I've never forgiven you for it.
At least I have the good taste enough to say that.
All right. Sorry, Jeff. Anything else you want to say about Thunderbolts?
No.
Yeah. Okay. I'm really excited about it as well. It looks like a blast.
By the way,
I
though,
think it'll be-
Eternals we consider a bomb, made 400 million
Yes.
worldwide and like 165 domestic. So like that's
Yeah.
why I was
Yeah.
like, is Thunderbolts not going to make $150 million?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
It
guys
will.
are called in number 9. It's like that's
Yeah.
like, you're looking at like 120.
You're looking at Eternals numbers
You're
at
looking
number 9.
Way less. Way less.
Yeah.
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 The desperation of the trailers really tells me they're worried about this movie. So I don't know.
Maybe.
My number 9 choice for my list is F1. And every year, guys, there's always a movie that like surprises us. And I would say a movie that fell into that category last year was Twisters, which did ridiculously well. And it essentially appeals to a part of the country that we are not in, maybe with the exception of Devindra. But yeah, is F1 going to be a type of movie that like people turn out for in a way
Is
that
that one of the world's biggest sports?
It is. It's that
One of you.
I think
pretty
you're thinking
big.
of
It's pretty
NASCAR,
damn
Dave.
big.
F1 is
Yeah.
is
It's not some
champagne
redneck territory.
But it's
Champagne
global, it's
sipping,
global. It's not
Yes.
domestic.
European.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
there you
Yeah.
go. And also, thank you, Jeff, for that clarification because I'm not sure I understood that difference until now. No,
F1 is very European. It's
Right, yeah,
very
yeah.
Yes.
it's
No, but people,
not
here's the
NASCAR.
people like you guys know what I'm saying. People like the race cars and
Yeah.
This is
the
what I called it
going
like a
fast.
dad movie. This is what I was
Yeah.
referring to. Twisters,
Yeah.
Top Gun.
Yeah, but here's the thing. F1 has. I mean, I know nothing about sports, so I mean, I refer to Germain and Jeff, but like my research here, the U.S. has 45 million F1 fans. Half of them have become followers of the sport in the last 5 years. This is like
It's
exploding.
growing. Yeah.
That's why I also put it at the spot as well. I think I don't know. It could even be higher, but the thing is, it's weird because like, what is the comp for this? Is it Ford versus Ferrari?
Right, I don't think it is.
I don't think so. That felt like a documentary.
Yeah,
it felt like
it's like a drama, right? Like
it felt like a history lesson.
Yeah,
This
but like,
movie is like this is like Days of Thunder.
this is like Top Gun in cars, basically. is
yeah,
what
I
it
just
is.
said Days of Thunder.
yeah.
But what movies recently do you look at? Like Rush, Gran Turismo,
Right.
Speed Racer. Like they all
I
did
think
like
you look at
45
Brad
million.
Pitt movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is like there are some reports suggesting the budget exceeded 300 million. I don't see
Right.
that possible. But Jerry Bruckheimer has publicly debunked that. But I don't know. I could see this making 150 million.
I agree. It could. What I'm saying is, I'm worried I put it this low because, like, it could be like a huge breakout hit and make like 250 or something. Anyway, F1's my number 9. Peter, are you saying it was your number 10? By the way, is that what you're implying just now?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Cool. Yeah. No worries. So yeah, we're now at our number 10. These another hugely consequential choice because whoever nails this gets 13 points for some reason, according to these arbitrary rules. Germain Lussier, your number 10 choice.
So, I mentioned when BJ was talking about Final Destination that there's a lot of good potential horror this year, right? So there's 5, by my count, big horror movies that are coming out. And so I was like, I feel like a horror movie's looking good here. What's going to be the top? What's going to be the biggest one? And Final Destination, maybe a couple others. But I went with 28 Years Later here in number 10.
Wow.
I think the trailer was, everybody liked it. I think it's a movie. I think that people will come back who like the other movies, but I think you don't care. I think it's zombies. So I think zombies are the draw. And this is a thing where they already made the second movie. They're so confident in this first movie. The second movie is ready to go in January. So we're getting a sequel in January, like 6 months out. So that leads me to believe that it's good. And then, so maybe it makes like $100 million, and that puts it at number 10.
That would be so much more than any of the other 28.
Yeah, this is one of my most anticipated movies of the summer. I
want to see it.
I almost put it in my top 10, and then I looked up how much 28 Weeks Later made, and it was $28 million domestic.
I did not look at that. So maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should have went with one of the other 5.
Yeah.
I think Final Destination has a bigger shot at making the top 10 than 28 years later.
Yeah.
Maybe
that also didn't make.
But I think if this movie makes $30 million, they might not even release the next one.
Wow, yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe it might end up in a Horizon situation. BJ Colangelo, your number 10 choice.
This is where I put Elio. I hope that it's higher. I want original Pixar to be higher. But again, my heart is still broken from last year. I trust nobody. So putting it at 10.
Yeah, I also put Elio at number 10 as well. I think it's going to, probably make around $120 million worst case. And that's where it ended up. Jeff Kanata, Devindra Hardawar, you're number 10.
Same. Elio.
Oh, wow.
For all the reasons we've said.
Jeff, were you also Elio number 10? No, you were putting.
No, I already put Elio number 5, Dave. If you recall.
Smooth move.
That sounds like a good idea.
yeah. All right. So
are you ready? Are you ready for another great idea?
I really am.
Number 10. Taking a big swing, everybody. Number 10. Freakier Friday.
Wow. Okay.
I thought about it.
Not
I
bad.
Considered it.
Not bad, Jeff. Not
It's
bad.
got a whole 2 weeks. It's got a whole 2 weeks to make number 10, man. That should be good.
Oh, is that the end of the summer? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
That's why it's not on my list. Otherwise, that would have been my pony.
The first,
Yes, it would have been.
the first movie
Darn
made a lot
it.
of money.
Really?
People
It's
forget
only has
like,
2
how much
weeks?
money that made.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Me? Not researching your picks? What are you doing?
Well, you really took the wind. You really took the wind out of his sails there.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was a
There's
good
no
one.
universe. There's no universe where this movie makes
God,
that much
this is
money.
like when people
Capture that sigh.
This is like when people pitch on Shark Tank and they have this big thing and they're like, that product exists.
Oh man.
Okay, first of all, it's not that bad. Okay, it's August.
No,
8th.
there's no
pretty
universe where this movie makes that
Three.
money.
It's 3 weeks.
It's got to
Germain.
make $90 million basically to have any shot at being in the top 10 here. And
Movies
it
have.
could. It could.
Yeah.
There's no way. I did not clock that fact. I would not have done that. I do
Did not
think
factor
though
in
that,
time.
that
Yeah.
there's nothing any of us have talked about except maybe Lilo and Stitch that is courting women.
Yep.
And this feels
100%.
like a fun nostalgia trip in the same way that some of these other things are nostalgia trips for dudes. That this is like, I feel like Freakier Friday can be actually a big deal to a lot of people that a lot of us don't think about a lot.
It's a
huge
very
hit.
big deal to me. An extremely big deal. And I think that's why they put it in August so that it wouldn't get swallowed by everything else that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you know what?
If this went to October, I'm not even messing with you anymore. I think it's 100% going to be. It's going to make like $120 million. It's going to be a hit. It's just the timing.
Totally. Yeah.
This is like when Jeff Kanata put Christopher Robin on his top 10 for the summer movie wager, only to later find out it was a live action film.
I think, Jeff, you should start looking at posters. Just the
I have
posters. They have the date on them, and they have the actors.
I have
And
certain
the posters.
strategic disadvantages. That's
Yeah.
true.
If Jeff looked at a poster, he would know Josh Hartnett was in Trap. Yeah.
All right, and then
This is why we don't make your top 10 lists at 11:30 at night the previous evening.
And my number 10, I've already said, is Elio. I'm right there with BJ that this is kind of. I'm hoping it does well and it'll come in around there.
Sure.
But anyway, okay, guys, the list is not over yet. We all have 3 dark horses, so let's just go over our 3 right now. Each just bang, bang, bang. Germain, Lussier, your 3 dark horses.
Yeah, which I said at the beginning was the hardest part for me because there's so many. I have 6 below it that could have made it, but my 3 I went with are Ballerina, Megan 2.0, and The Naked Gun.
Wow.
The Naked Gun is probably the weird pick there, and I think the trailer looks really funny. It's R-rated comedy. We have nothing like that this summer, really. We have horror R-rated, so I was like, I think it's going to make some money.
Yeah, I mean, comedies in general aren't really released in theaters that often anymore. So who knows? Who knows what the pent-up demand is for that? But interesting choices. BJ Colangelo, your 3 dark horse choices.
My 3 dark horse choices are Megan 2.0, Karate Kid, Legends, and this is where I think F1's going to land. I think this is going to be crazy popular internationally. I don't know if it's going to swing domestic as high, but again, what do I know?
Great choices. Megan 2.0, Karate Kid, Legends, and F1. Peter Sciretta, your 3 dark horses?
My 3 dark horses are Ballerina, Megan 2.0, which, by the way, the first film made $95 million, which would have made it on the list. So it's just a question of like, has the buzz gotten more or less since that
Once people see that trailer and they're like, this is what you're doing with Megan? Yes, I think maybe.
Yeah, so I think it can make it. And my 3rd dark horse, no one has mentioned this film. People probably will laugh at me, is Smurfs. There have been 3 Smurfs movies. They are high earners worldwide, but not really domestically. They made
there's another one.
But they made $1.1 billion worldwide for those 3 movies. That's insane. The first movie made $142 million in the US. The last one made $45 million. So a little bit of decline. This is a reboot, just directed by Chris Miller.
This one does have Rihanna.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's directed by the guy that did Puss in Boots. So I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the kids are interested
in. Which Puss in Boots? That's the question.
That is a good question.
The last one, Last Wish, was good.
The Smurfing Boots.
Oh no.
There's big differences in Puss in Boots movies there. Yeah.
I think the original 2011.
Yeah, the original 2011.
Yeah.
The original. Yeah. Chris Miller, the director there.
Yep.
Okay.
Ballerina, Megan 2.0, and Smurfs. Devindra Hardawar, your 3 dark horses.
Yeah. Megan 2.0. I think Megan can have the legs, but I'm not quite sure. Final Destination Bloodlines, for a lot of the reasons you were saying, BJ, and just kind of want to throw. This is where I want to throw a thing that I want to exist. I want Freakier Friday to do really well for the 2 weeks it counts within the summer. So Freakier Friday, sure, why not?
10 spot well.
Why is everyone saying 2 weeks though? It's 3 weekends. It's going to be out for 3 weekends.
Sure.
I might have
3 weekends in August.
Yeah, no, you were exaggerating for comedic effect, and I appreciate
it. But still, that's not a lot of time. But
we
maybe that's time to capture.
Freakier Fridays.
I will say this was the one movie away from being on my dark horse. So, so I don't know. I think it could. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. So Freakier Friday, Final Destination Bloodlines, and Megan 2.0. Jeff Kanata, your 3 dark horses.
I also had Megan 2.0 as a dark horse, Karate Kid, Legends, and Bad Guys 2.
Nice. I gotta say, guys, I'm feeling pretty bad about not putting Megan 2.0 on my dark horses, considering literally every single one of you did that.
It's also coming soon and will be in theaters for a while.
I will almost certainly come to regret that choice. But, you know...
Well, hopefully you don't need any dark horses, right?
Yeah, you're right, because I've crushed the list, the rest of the list so hard.
The point is, like, dark horses are only...
it's over,
your dark horses are only important if you've made a terrible error in your list.
If I've made multiple colossal miscalculations on the list.
It's not just like having them in the wrong space. It's like literally a wrong movie in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean... Jesus Christ, of course I'd never do anything like that, Jeff. So, okay. My dark horses are Ballerina, Bad Guys 2, and Final Destination Bloodlines. I think there is a chance it could break out and become the most successful Final Destination movie ever. and that
Let's
would put
go.
it in sight of the top 10. Let's go. We're rooting for you
The
guys.
swan
Okay.
song of Tony Todd. Let's go.
Yes. All right. Finally, as a tie, in the event that there is a tie, which is like a psychotic outcome, but supposing there is, each one of us have chosen a number that we think the number one movie of the summer will make, like the dollar amount. And whoever gets it closest to that amount by absolute value, no Price is Right rules, will win the tie in the event that there's a tie. Okay. So let's just go over what the tiebreaker number is. I'll just say my number and then we'll go in reverse order here. 530 million. All right.
Oh.
That's what I've said. Jeff
I
Kanata.
I did 520 million.
Okay. All right. How about you, Devindra Hardware?
510 million.
Creeping low.
Just count down. Just all of us.
Let's go down.
$1.
All right. All right. Peter Sciretta.
I now feel stupid. I already emailed this to Dave. My tiebreaker number is 402 million.
Wow. That's that
For the
that-
top
if-
movie of the
if-
summer. Wow.
If
Surprisingly
that's
low.
true,
Yeah.
by the way, that would be a catastrophic summer, I think. If that's true. So
We
you're
talked about how it's going to be
you're
closer all
predicting
the
a
way.
total
Yeah.
and complete collapse of the
Dave,
summer movie.
you already
industrial
know
complex.
it's going to be a catastrophic summer. The question is, will it be so for movies?
Yeah. BJ Colangelo, your tiebreaker number.
527, Dave.
Wow. Okay.
Is this the
And-
closest without going over?
No,
No, he
absolute
said
value.
no.
Absolute value.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah.
And Germain Lussier.
457.
Okay. All right. So I think the only scenario where that wouldn't work is if BJ and I tied and the final amount was 580, 500 and, you know what I'm saying? Like a 528.5 million, then we would both be exactly 1.5 million away from the actual number.
Because your lists are so similar. You guys are close
Oh,
to
yeah.
tying. Yeah.
Nearly
that would
identical.
be a catastrophic. Yeah, that would be a catastrophic outcome. All right. Any other thoughts, folks? I want to say a huge thank you to everyone, Peter Sciretta, Germain Lussier, and BJ Colangelo for joining us this year. Really appreciate it. But yeah, any closing thoughts before we wrap up today?
I have
Are we
one
good?
thought, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sure if you know this, but there's also another competitor in this year's summer movie wager. I've added them. It's called ChatGPT. I decided to put in
no.
the rules of the competition into ChatGPT
Really?
and
Oh, no.
ask. It's not official, but I just want to say I'm interested for our results episode. How many people beat ChatGPT?
Uh-huh.
So here's the list that ChatGPT came up with: Jurassic World, number 1. Superman, number 2. Fantastic Four, number 3. Mission Impossible, number 4. Lilo and Stitch, number 5. How to Train Your Dragon, number 6. Thunderbolts, number 7. F1, number 8. Karate Kid, number 9. Ilio, number 10. And then 3 dark horses are The Bad Guys 2, 28 Days Later, or Years Later, and Megan 2.0.
That's
Interesting.
such a list that one of us could have picked. That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a
Wait, was
typical
F1
list, yeah.
on the list, Peter?
Yeah, so it was at number 8.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what I'm encouraged by is I think I had like the same 10 choices on the list as that one. So
We wasted a whole
And the only
bottle
the
of water
differences
for that
are
search.
the orders.
you
Tune
could have
in-
fed.
by the
you
way-
coulda- yeah.
Tune in next year when none of us have to even participate. We just
We
we,
can
just
just
have
put in-
ChatGPT surface the audio for all this whole thing. It'll be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Just-
awesome. It's gonna be awesome. All right. Well, that's gonna bring us to the end. I want to say also a thank you to Dennis, who is running the SummerMovieWager.com website as usual.
Dennis.
Thank you,
Huge thanks
Dennis.
to him
The
for
real MVP.
allowing us to do this. Yeah, the real
Yes.
MVP. And yeah, get your entries in at the SummerMovieWager.com. Follow along. We'll be back at the end of summer to talk about the results. We'll also have a recording about Lemonade Mouth to fulfill the commitment for last year's Summer Movie Wager coming up soon.
And a huge thank you to our patrons. I think we're really trying to get this one out to you guys early
Yeah.
as a huge thank you for supporting the show. We wouldn't be here without you. So thank you, patrons.
Absolutely. So hope you're enjoying this episode early, but appreciate everyone who is listening at all. And a huge thank you again to Peter Sciretta from Ordinary Adventures, Germain Lussier from IO9 Gizmodo, and BJ Colangelo from This Ends at Prom. Check out all their work wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you get your websites, etc. All right, that's it. That's going to do it for us here. Thank you so much for listening to the Filmcast. I'm David Chen here with Devindra Hardor and Jeff Kanata. We'll see you later. Thank you so much for watching this video of the Filmcast. Check out these other videos that we have available, and be sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get other videos from us in the future.
You can also go to thefilmcast.com to catch all of our audio podcast versions of all of our episodes.
And support this podcast at patreon.com/filmpodcast, where you can sign up for ad-free episodes and exclusive After Darks.
Thanks so much to everyone who makes the Filmcast possible.